to eat and smile at the same time, but he was trying. He looked at me and said, Ken, this is the best sandwich I have ever had. And I looked at him as the red sauce from the sandwich started running down his chin. I reached for a napkin, but he didn't need it. He said, look at this place. And he looked around. He said, I'm amazed it doesn't have a Michelin star. I mean, it's really that good. I said, I know. It's the best sandwich I have ever had, too. Fine dining was new to Mike and me. But here we were, enjoying our lunch in the Ray Lyman Wilbur Junior High School cafeteria. And their specialty was Sloppy Joe sandwiches on lightly toasted French rolls. They were delicious. And when Mike and I heard French rolls, we assumed these were French sandwiches. We had never had such gourmet food before. It was wonderful. But as soon as lunch was over, we headed for Mr. Husky's classroom. Mr. Husky was our 7th grade homeroom teacher. He was really strict, so we hurried. You did not want to be late getting to Mr. Husky's classroom. We went there, and both of our mouths were slightly smeared with red from the Sloppy Joe mix. But when we got there, we started to enter the classroom, and we stopped, surprised by what we saw. Mike looked at me and says, Ken, there's a new kid in class. Well, new kids always come in the morning. They start at first period. Is starting at noon even legal? And I looked at him, I said, Mike, I don't know if it's legal, but look where he's sitting. Then Mike saw it. The new kid was seated at his desk, and his desk was pulled up right against the blackboard. Now, Mr. Husky, strict, had often used the threat of having to move a desk to the blackboard as a way of quieting people that were speaking out of turn. More than once I'd heard, Mr. Iverson, one more word out of your mouth, and you're going to move your desk right up next to the blackboard. Now that had been enough always to make me stop talking, and anyone else that was speaking out of turn also. None of us had ever had to move our desk up next to the blackboard. No one had moved their desk there until now. And Mike looked at me and says, Ken, how could he get in that much trouble when he joined the class when there was no class? I don't know, Mike, but I think we're going to learn things from this kid. And look, he is so cool. He's wearing sunglasses. That's cool, but he has no idea what Mr. Husky is going to do to him when he sees those sunglasses. Sunglasses were not allowed on campus at all. Mike and I took our seat. Mr. Husky came to the front of the room. Okay, quiet down, quiet down. Okay, you've all seen we have a new student. This is Gary. And Gary is sitting right next to the blackboard because he needs to be that close to the blackboard to be able to read it. Gary is legally blind. Well, I'd never heard the term before. I knew what blind was, but legally blind? I had no idea what it meant. But Mike and I, see in the back of the room, we could see Gary was squirming. He wanted to be anywhere but up in front of that class, but that's where he was. Mr. Husky continued. He said, because they help him see, Gary will be allowed to wear sunglasses in class. Mike couldn't contain himself anymore. He said, oh, he's so lucky. 13-year-olds have a weird way of evaluating luck. He did get to wear sunglasses, but he had to be legally blind to do it. Well, when class was over, Mr. Husky called Mike and me up to the front of the room, introduced us to Gary. Now, boys, I know that you live on Roosevelt Circle, and that is the same street that Gary's family has just moved on to. So I would like for you to show him all around the school and then walk home with him so he learns the route. Would you do that? Yes, sir, Mr. Husky, would be glad to. We lived about a mile from school, so there was no bus service. We walked. We went out, we started showing Gary the school grounds. And I looked at him and said, Gary, I don't understand. You don't have a white cane, and we're walking. You walk fine. Why are they saying you're blind? I said, it's my eyes. He said, they're just very sensitive to light. These aren't regular sunglasses. They're extra dark. And I don't just wear them like outside here or in the classroom. I wear them at home. I usually wear them in the movie theater even. So then we understood at least what was happening with his eyes. And he said, I can't go fast. I can't run or anything. So we walked and we went around the campus and we walked home. We went to my house, showed him where I lived, and we went across the street to where Mike lived, and then around the circle to his house. We spent the whole afternoon with Gary, playing with him, having fun. And by the time it was getting towards evening and Mike and I needed to head home, we already knew that the three of us would be best friends. Now that meant some big changes. Mike and I were jocks. Every day after school, we'd either be throwing the football or shooting basketballs. But with Gary, he couldn't do that. So we started learning new things. We learned card games. Gary knew those and taught us card games. We learned board games. We watched TV, usually My Three Sons or Ozzie and Harriet. We would spend hours together every afternoon. But sometimes we'd look at Gary and we'd say, hey, we'll see you in a little bit. And before he could say anything, Mike and I would run out, get on our bikes, and ride away. And we'd come back a little bit later. Gary, you want some candy? Sure. I thought you guys were broke. We are. Well, how'd you get candy? 5-finger discount. Said we shoplift. Gary's face lit up like I'd never seen it light up. Says, oh, I want to do that. I said, Gary, being legally blind kind of excludes you from the shoplifting club. But we'll find something else we can do with you. Something fun. And he looked at me with a face like I had never seen in my life. Ken, you don't understand. Because I'm blind, I never get to do anything illegal. And I really felt for him. I found myself beside myself saying, well, maybe I can help. He was so excited at the prospect of being helped. I had to think about it. How could I involve Gary in shoplifting and not get him in trouble? Well, luckily, I had joined a Christian church, a Protestant church, a few months before. No, this applies. And there was a kid, well, a college-age kid named Tom in the youth group. And he was mentoring me in how to become a Christian and be ready for baptism. I know, it wasn't taking well yet, obviously. A lot of people say shoplifting is coveting your neighbor's candy bar. Well, I thought, but it was teaching me about mentoring. I thought I could mentor Gary. I could teach Gary how to shoplift. I mean, I'm good at this. I thought maybe I could tell Tom about it and it'd be considered a good deed. I wasn't sure. But I thought about it. Well, at night, I'd often watch TV, and I'd watch Dragnet, a police show from a long time ago. And it starred a guy named Sergeant Joe Friday. And Sergeant Joe Friday on Dragnet would always be real deadpan, and he would always say, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. But I listened, and on his show, I learned from him a new word, heist. That was a good word, and so much better than 5-finger discount. So many more possibilities. And then I heard Sergeant Joe say, most criminals get caught because they don't plan well enough. That wasn't going to happen to us. I got my school binder and put a new section in it, and a new binder tab, and I wrote H on it for heist. But I was learning, I didn't write heist on it, just H. And it dawned on me, I'm being mentored by Sergeant Joe Friday. Probably not what the show intended. But, when I met up with Gary and Mike that weekend, we started talking about it, and as we were hanging around and trying to figure out how we could involve Gary in shoplifting, and Mike held up an ad from a Look magazine, and whoa, he was a doctor. He was pretty dashing. Nice looking guy with a smock or white coat on, and he was in his exam room with a patient, and he was smoking. He was saying you should smoke Salem because the menthol cigarettes are better for you. They even had a motto: take a puff. It's springtime. We thought a doctor's advice should be followed. Plus, there were kids at the high school. We were junior high, but the high school, there were kids there that smoked, and they, to us, appeared cool. So we thought, we'll learn to smoke. Well, this brought up all kinds of things. I planned, and when we got together the next weekend, I opened the binder to H. I said, lots of questions in front of us. What cigarettes are we going to get? What kind? And we all started talking. Oh, there's Marlboro, Camel, Pall Mall, Salem, if you want the menthol that the doctor recommended. We had to consider that. We went back and forth, and primarily we were influenced by a reliable source of information, ads. And when we got to the Marlboro ad and saw the cool-looking cowboy with a nice-looking horse, that was it, Marlboros. Well, that answered a lot of other questions. If we were having Marlboros, we weren't having menthol. So, did we want filter tipped or plain? Well, Marlboros have filters. That settled that question. Did we want regular or extra long? Well, we were kids, regular. We didn't think we could handle extra long. Well, we had all these different questions. Packaging, soft pack or box? Well, box are going in someone's pocket. So we did all that, and thought, how are we going to light them? Mike said, well, we could take matches from our houses. But Gary said, but my dad has a lighter. It's a Zippo. You can flip it, and it opens. It's really cool. Well, really cool would sell anything to us. So we knew we'd now steal a Zippo lighter. And Gary said, well, you need a little packet of things called flints to make it work, and a can of lighter fluid. We put it all on the list. Then Mike asked the big question. Okay, Ken, you're planning the whole thing. I see it's in your binder. Impressive. He says, how is Gary going to be involved in shoplifting and not get caught? I turned the page. I've got it all planned. Mike, you and I know that we have a fail-safe plan for getting out of trouble should we be caught. We run. We were both really fast runners. We could outrun almost anybody in school. I said, but Gary can't do that. Gary can't. So I have set up a way to have Gary involved right in the whole thing, right in the midst of it, and yet never at risk. Gary, you're going to be our lookout. I can't say the first thing that Mike said after that. But his next thing was, you're going to take the one person out of the whole group that can't see and make him the lookout. I said, hey, it will work. It will work. Listen. And Mike said, listen, why don't we just get on our bikes and ride to the police station and turn ourselves in now? I said, no, it will work. Trust me. I said, I opened the next page. It was a map of Sears that I had drawn. I said, there's a north and south entrance. We're going to take the list. We'll divide it in half. Mike, you and I will each be responsible for getting half of what we need. Then we go to Sears, and Gary, you go in the north entrance. Mike, you and I go in the south entrance. I showed them on the map where the tobacco department was. I said, we go towards it, but don't go in until the clerk leaves, because we're too young, we're not allowed. Once the clerk leaves, we all go in. Gary, you'll walk the aisles and make sure it's clear. And then give us a subtle sign, like a cough. Cough. He went, perfect. That's all we need. And then Mike and I will steal everything. Once you see that we're getting that done, Gary, you turn and leave by the north entrance that you came in. Mike and I will leave by the south. We will all meet around back of Sears, where there was an orchard that had been abandoned years before, and a caretaker's cottage that was also empty and used by all the kids as for a fort. So we'll meet there, and that's where we'll become smokers. They both thought it would work. But then Gary said, guys, we looked at him, said, look. He held up another magazine, and in this one there was a guy smoking a pipe. But he was surrounded by two beautiful women. We started adding up. We looked at the Marlboro ad again. Apparently, if we smoked Marlboro, we might become a cowboy with a beautiful horse. But if we smoked a pipe, we might end up with girlfriends. We made a new list. Threw away the old one. What do we need now? Well, right away we had to have a pipe. We went through the magazine, looked at all the pipes, and there were some very sophisticated ones which didn't seem to fit us. So we chose corncob. And then tobacco, we knew nothing, but Amphora had a great ad, so we chose Amphora. And Jerry said, we need pipe cleaners. Okay, pipe cleaners on the list. I think the Zippo lighter, Flints and Fluid would still work. We made the list. Is that everything? Yeah, we're good. We took the list, divided it. Mike took half, I took half. We walked the 30 minutes to the Sears Roebuck store in Mountain View, California. Gary went in the north entrance, Mike and I in through the south. Short time after that, we were in the smoking department, Gary walking the aisles, and then we heard Mike and I went to work, carefully pocketing everything on our list. We looked up to see Gary exiting to the north exit. Perfect. Mike and I, walking a little loose, carrying a lot of stuff, headed to the south entrance, out the door. No one following us. Perfect. We were making our way across the parking lot, eager to meet up with Gary out in the orchard and become smokers. Well, as we were about halfway across the parking lot, then we suddenly heard, young men, hold it. Stop right there. Mike and I were not even worried. We just looked at each other and smiled. Who were we about to outrun? We turned around and one look said, yep, we can outrun the security guard. He's probably retired, 25 or 30 years old. We can outrun him. But that one look also let us know instantly that we wouldn't be outrunning him because of what he had in his hand. Now, to find out what he had in his hand, you'll need to come back after intermission. He says, but don't feel bad, because if this was TV, you'd have to wait till the fall for a new season. Because you chose live theater, you only have to wait through intermission. So we're going to take a 10-minute intermission.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
These cards, if you haven't filled one out and you'd like one, just raise your hand. We'll get one to you. And as we said, there'll be a drawing at the end of intermission to give